Turn left at the stone plinth and walk towards the well, stopping by the gates on your right. From these gates, you will be able to appreciate the north facade of the building, which was designed as the main elevation of the early 16th century shrine. This sophisticated and beautiful building is a gem of late perpendicular architecture and is unique in the world. Note that it comprises 2 stories, the open crypt which contains the well itself, and a chapel above. On the hillside above the well to your left stands the medieval church of St. Winifred, now the Anglican parish church of St. James. The church stands on the site of St. Bino's original chapel, though no trace of this now remains. The earliest portion of the present structure is the Norman tower, the rest of the church having been rebuilt in the 18th century. All the other buildings surrounding the well are later still. Try to imagine the shrine as it looked when newly erected, with just the 2-story well shrine standing out against the green hillside into which it had been built, with the small but rapid river from the spring pouring directly out of the bottom of the facade underneath the central Gothic arch, overlooked only by the medieval parish church. The water now fills a large exterior bath just in front of the shrine, and the ground level has been raised to permit this. But for some 150 years after its completion, the well crypt was approached by flights of steps on either side of the stream's outflow. These doorways gave access into the crypt itself. Over the doorways and above the central outflow are 3 great Gothic arches which light the crypt. Above the crypt is the chapel of St. Winifred, comprising a nave, north aisle, and a sanctuary. The nave and aisle are connected by an arcade of pillars, and the north wall of the aisle comprises 3 triple light glazed windows which look down over the exterior bathing pool. It is this range of windows which you can see from your present position, forming the upper level of the main facade. Above these windows, notice the 3 small triple light windows of the clerestory which light the nave of the chapel. The sanctuary takes the form of a 5-sided apse on the east end of the chapel, close to the church tower. Access to the chapel is on the south side on the upper level from the churchyard, and should you wish to visit it after your tour of the well, the key may be obtained from the well custodians at the entrance shop. The garden in which you are now standing was formerly the site of St. Winifred's brewery, closest to the well of all the many industries once located in the valley between the Hurley Well and the Dee estuary, and all dependent upon the powerful waters of the sacred spring. Today the ruins of Basingstoke Abbey, which administered the shrine in the Middle Ages, and of all the factories with their great pools and dams created to store the water from the well, can be visited in the Greenfield Valley below the well. They stand in a beautiful woodland park created and run by the Greenfield Valley Trust, and a visit to the valley and its sites is heartily recommended. It is an instructive thought that of all this mighty complex of power and financial influence, only its originating source, the Well of St. Winifred, has survived to the present day, not as a place of wealth and industry, but as a focus of prayer and healing. And this, it is to be remembered, has been its function from the outset. By 1930, the brewery had closed. The building was purchased by the Catholic Church and demolished to allow for the creation of the gardens you see today. To your left, you will see a square area of York stone paving. Since 1931, the Mass celebrated the annual national pilgrimage to the well has been sung here in the well gardens, and the pavement marks the place where the altar for this Mass is erected. This pilgrimage takes place on June the 22nd, if a Sunday, or on the first Sunday following June the 22nd. the summer feast day of St. Winifred, which commemorates her martyrdom on this spot. This festival has been observed continuously since at least the 12th century and has never been omitted, even in the darkest days of persecution following the Reformation, when Catholicism was a forbidden religion. And though, of course, other pilgrimages take place here throughout the summer, this is still the largest event in the Wells calendar. When you are ready, walk along the path and stop beside the statue of St. Winifred. This image of weathered white marble was the first image of the saint set up in public since the Reformation. It was carved for the new Catholic Church, opened in Holywell in 1830, and was removed here to the Well Garden in 1931. The pedestal is placed upon a granite millstone, which reminds one that the statue of the patron saint stands on what was originally the bed of the stream flowing from the well, which powered all the local industries. The well formerly was described as one of the 7 wonders of Wales because it was the strongest spring in the country. Despite the fact that its waters flowed only 1 mile to the Dee estuary in the Irish Sea, the spring was actually the source of a powerful river. In the 18th century, its flow was measured as 7.6 million gallons of water per day, and that is over 53 million gallons every week. Mining in the vicinity caused the flow to lessen in the 19th century, and even caused it to dry up in 1917. But the water was restored shortly afterwards by tapping an alternative underground stream from below the same range of hills from which the original had flowed, some miles inland from Holywell. The original powerful stream still flows today, but now it runs down to the Dee estuary through the mine drainage tunnel at Bagald, just 2 miles away. Beyond the saint statue protruding from the grass, you can see the scant remains of the brickwork of the water wheel housing and dam of the old St. Winifred's brewery.